So once you fix the really bad thing, now you're left to bullet point number 3. Does what's left make sense? And that's where we switch to this page we created called Planning Analysis. And this can be a bit of an eye chart, but give me a minute to explain, and you'll see, I think, that it makes a lot of sense. So looking forward, this left-hand chart shows us by month the total number of full-time equivalent work we have broken into 5 categories. Who is severely overplanned, who is overplanned, who is acceptably planned, who is underplanned, and who is severely underplanned. And technically a 6th category, who has no plan, no demand at all. So this left side is telling us how many people we need and what the composition of those people looks like. The right side is telling us how many people do we actually have broken down the same way. So right now, if we look at the entire business for this 8-month span, we have just about 13,000 hours of planned demand and about 18,000 hours of available capacity. So at a top level average, and I hate top level averages, but I'm showing it anyway, the average person is loaded at 72% capacity, which tells us one of several things. Either some people we don't need, or we don't have all of our demand planning fully planned out in Clarity, or you got a bunch of bad data that needs to be cleaned up and might totally change that number. But just to start getting down into the details, because I said this will make it easier to find it, I'm going to click on this little cell right here, the 152 hours grossly overplanned people in May. So you can see it highlights the bar over on the side, which says, what is the plan? 262 equivalent human beings worth of work is being put on 152 people. So the average person in that group is loaded at 172%. And down here in the table on the bottom, it tells you who those specific people are and how badly they are overplanned. Now let me scale this down for just a second. Wrong one, sorry. Let's take a look at just one specific P&L, the train performance P&L. So if I narrow that down to train performance, we have 42 people doing the work of 64.5 people, so the average load is 154%. And if I sort this planned FTE in descending order to show the most stressed out, beaten up guy at the top, it is Kenneth Battle. In the month of May, he is planned at 228%. Good to know, but what is creating that 228% of demand? And that's where I'm going to switch to a different Power BI report, which has very detailed planning information. So looking at this, what this is this is a pivot table, obviously, where the row grouping is our HR reporting structure down to the individual person and the project and tasks those people are working on. You'll see that in a moment. Each column is a month, and the intersection is the number of hours that are either planned in the future or were charged in the past on timesheets. So I am going to use my resource name picker to find Mr. Battle. I got to turn the search on. Sorry. Let me add search. Now let's try that again. We're looking for Kenneth Battle. Here he is. Okay. So there we are in May. He is booked at 419.25 hours, which is how you get 228 or 2.28 FTE. So let's expand this and see what he is assigned to. So, wow, he is assigned to a lot of projects. If you look down the April, there's one that clearly stands out as the worst bad guy of them all, and that is this Redbird Smith, Oklahoma radio dispatch project. So let's dig into there. Okay, so he is assigned to 4 different tasks, and it not only tells you the task name, it tells you the task ID from Clarity, So if you need to go into this project and find it, you know exactly what to look for because you've got the project and you've got the task ID. So looking over here at May, he has 96 hours planned for process and product audits, okay, 105 hours for release reviews, and 85 hours for status meetings. That's a lot of time spent in status meetings in a month. That's 21 hours a month. So, and if you look back in the past, these are his timesheets. If I want to see just the timesheets, I can change the source view to timesheet only. And you can see that for that project, in the 3.5 months so far in the year, because this data is as of mid-April, he had only charged 63 hours. If I switch to the demand view only, for the remaining 2.5 months, he has a budget of 683 hours. Clearly, that is not right. So these 3 tasks in this project really need to be looked at, and they need to be scaled way down because he is grossly overplanned for that. Again, this is another one of those cases where somebody gave him a long assignment and a lot of hours, and he's hardly used any of them, and they just keep moving to the right, moving to the right, moving to the right. And you get giant ETC stacks like this that totally distort A, your overall resource profile, and B, your ETC cost, because he's not going to charge that 683 hours in the next 2.5 months if he's only charged 60 in the last 3.5 months. But the bigger point is, by using Power BI effectively, you can see who the overplanned people are and what is causing them to be overplanned, so you know exactly where to go to find it. Now, here's your 3 needles in the haystack. Go fix those 3, and poor Ken Battle will not be so grossly overplanned for the next few months.